I know this is a Pistons podcast. We're Pistons first and foremost. But it would be a disservice just as a basketball fan not to talk about game 3 of the NBA Finals. Spurs came back. They're down 2-1 now. Potentially be the sixth team in NBA history to come back from 0-2 to win the NBA championship. Maybe. That's on the table now. I still think the Knicks win in 5. But, man, the thing I'll say about the Knicks in game 3, and I'm going to talk about their fans here in a second, but their offense, I don't know what happened. What happened to the beautiful brand of basketball they were playing, where everybody's touching it on possessions, people are cutting, everybody's getting a chance to hold the ball and make a play. That's like the ideal way to play basketball. And you saw some moments of it last night or Monday night. I don't know what happened. I was reading an interesting stat about Karl Anthony Towns because he pretty much disappeared in the second half. Really throughout, I know he played, and I definitely saw some moments from him in the first half, but overall it felt like he was a ghost. That he might have just been sitting in the crowd. And I don't think that's his fault. I just think something went wrong with the Knicks, and I don't think it had everything to do with the Spurs defense. But this Karl Anthony Towns, it's pretty crazy. Like I just don't understand what happened. I mean, it felt like he was killing Wemby. Like he's a mismatch. I like to call him a mismatch nightmare on offense. Like, how do you defend a 7-footer that can take you to the rim, shoot threes? He's a good passer. Like, how do you defend against a guy that can hurt you in so many ways? I just don't understand what happened. Like he really, really disappeared in this game. I'm trying to find this stat. Here it is. So Towns, whom the Knicks, they didn't run a lot of offense through during this postseason. They just have not done it. But he didn't really get that much in the second half, like I had said. But in the first half, the Knicks scored 23 points with 0 turnovers on 14 plays when Karl Anthony Towns had a touch on offense. And yet somehow, for some reason, they went away. I think the reason they did is because Brunson just wanted to play hero ball. I think the New York media got to him a little bit by saying that Karl Anthony Towns might be the finals MVP. I don't know. Maybe he decided like, hey, I'm king of New York. I'm king of the Knicks. I'm one of the best players that has ever worn this jersey. If we hold up the NBA championship trophy, I'm going to get finals MVP. That's what I'm thinking. Because that was a different brand of Knicks basketball than what we're used to. I think he really tried to play hero ball. He really wanted the credit for that game. But here's the thing, he's going to get the credit no matter what. He's the king of New York. He can do no wrong. If the Knicks at least win that game, they're talking about Jalen Brunson. Instead, we're looking at OG Anunoby and being like, why didn't he get more shots? He finished the game with 13 and I believe 28 points. 13 shots and 28 points. He was cooking. Josh Hart was cooking in the first half, and it seemed like he disappeared in the second half. I don't know. Knicks got to figure it out if they're going to make my prediction right of winning in 5. And I want to see them win in 5. I don't want to see the Spurs win. Even though now I'm actually teetering a little bit. I know on the last podcast I did complain about people doing that. But Knicks fans beating up on Spurs fans, ridiculous. I saw one guy, he's walking alone, and he gets harassed, and he's just throwing punches. That dude went down. He went down with a fight. He was just like, dude, you guys can kick me when I'm down. You guys can throw me to the ground, but I'm going to get a few hits in. I'm going to get at least a few punches in so you feel the wrath of Texas through my little fist. It was like, I know I'm laughing a little bit, but holy shit, I can't believe fans act this way. I've had one brief encounter with a fan, and I was in Chicago, and this was for a Detroit Tigers and White Sox game, and I believe the Tigers and the White Sox had a combined win total of like 28, and yet some guy, and this was the last game of the season. This is how bad both these teams were that year. Tickets were like $13, and we were sitting 3 rows behind the third base line. They were great seats. Food was phenomenal. But there was this guy that we kept running into, and he was talking so much crap about Tigers fans, and I happened to be standing behind him, and this is how the whole thing unraveled. He turned around, and I'm not that tall of a person. I'm like 6 foot even. And he turns around, and he's way tinier than me, and he's like, oh, whoa, I didn't realize they made him that big in Detroit, which, again, was cracking me up because I'm not that big. he, So then he proceeds to get extremely drunk. He was sitting in our section too. He followed me and my friend out of the White Sox stadium and was just talking so much shit to us the entire time. And I mean, he was drunk. He could barely stand up. He was talking and harassing us so much that security had to get involved and basically hold him back until we got to our car and were able to go off. Now, I wasn't fearing for my life or anything, but that's the only encounter I've had with a disrespectful fan. And it kind of was a little eye-opener to me. Just that because like, as much as I love the Detroit Pistons and really just love the sports that I'm into, I'm not going to fight you over a game that I had no... Like, I wasn't a part of the game. I'm just watching. That's it. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm passionate about the Pistons. I'm passionate about Michigan football and Michigan basketball. But, dude, I'm not getting into a fight over this. They don't pay me to do that. Now, if for some reason the Detroit Pistons call and say, hey, man, we need you to be an enforcer for when, like, Toronto Raptor fans come into town, sure, just give me tickets to the game and give me a couple beers and we're good. You don't need to pay me. Just give me tickets. But, like, that's never going to happen because that's ridiculous. And it was ridiculous of these fans to be beating up on another fan because of a game. You're this upset that your team lost that you decide to take it out on another human being because he's wearing a Spurs jersey? You know how ridiculous that is? And I'm just sitting over here laughing like, man, if I'm James Dolan, dude, I'm probably just going to have an empty arena for the next one because I don't want the negative press around my team. I'm only inviting celebrities. One more comment about Game 3, and this was a note that my wife took, and this has nothing to do with the game. It has everything to do with the halftime show. But she's watching it, and she wanted to see Cardi B perform. Like, I guess I don't really know too much about my wife's musical taste. I thought she was just into EDM, but apparently she is a big Cardi B fan. And this is news to me. That's cool, though. So she's watching with me because I told her Cardi B was going to be at the halftime show. And I thought they would play the halftime show on TV. I guess I forgot that they would show Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and Charles, and Draymond Green for some reason. But then my wife is looking at Shaq, and she's like, what is Shaq looking at? Like, look at his eyes. Like, he doesn't even seem like he's there at the desk. What's going on with this guy? And then she's like, oh, Cardi B's performing. He's watching Cardi B. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, maybe. And then they went to like a quick glimpse of Cardi B. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I would probably, if I was in Shaq's position too, I'd probably watch the entire time as well. She looked good. Why not? And then that tweet came up on the screen where it was like, man, Shaq's a dog or whatever. I don't know the exact wording of it, but basically said what my wife said. And she just thought it was the funniest thing ever that night. And she saw it. She's like, I told you, everybody else is thinking about it. I should probably come on your podcast and talk about Shaq looking at Cardi B sometime. I told her no, but maybe another time to talk about something else, basketball related. We're just not going to talk about Shaq and Cardi B unless I decide to bring it up like I am right now. But yeah, she thought it was hilarious, decided to go to bed. I got to watch the game alone by myself after that, even though I enjoyed her company on the couch as well. So like I said, this is a Pistons podcast, so we got to talk about the Detroit Pistons. And according to Cody M. Davis of the Detroit Free Press, I want to say, or Detroit News. Who does he write for? The Detroit News. I wanted to make sure I got that correct because everybody loves respect, and he deserves it. So anyways, Cody M. Davis, he wrote an article about Tobias Harris and how Tobias Harris has a strong desire to return to the Detroit Pistons. Look, I'm all for it. I'm all for Tobias Harris coming back. I think what he did during the regular season was good. I thought what he did during the playoffs was excellent. and it shows that he has a lot of gas left in the tank. Like that's great. I want to sign him back. He signed a 2-year, $52 million contract to join the Pistons 2 seasons ago, and I remember the uproar of that contract. I didn't think it was that bad at the time because even though he was 32 years old, he was still productive. I know he had bad playoffs in Philly, but he was still a solid player and he proved it. I didn't think 2 years, 52 million was bad at all, but I do remember Pistons fans complaining, talking about we're the worst run franchise in the history of the sport. Why are we giving this bum Tobias Harris money? Don't they know this is going to eat at the cap? But with the cap going up and everything, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I I don't know. Again, I didn't think the move was that bad, and he definitely proved all of us that were doubting him wrong, and then all of us that we thought was a good deal. He's just like, hey, I got your guys' back. I'm gonna make you guys look good. So 2 years, 52 million, not that bad at the time. I hope he's not asking for that type of money right now. But let's get into his numbers. 136 games with 136 starts the last 2 seasons. He's averaged 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Shot 47% from the field, 36% from three. And then in the playoffs, and I'm just going by the last 14 games. I'm not counting the 20 that he's played in Detroit over the last 2 seasons. But because this is more relevant to what he did. So the last 14 playoffs games, these last playoffs, he averaged 18 points, 7 rebounds, almost 2 steals per game, and about a little less than 2 assists per game. Now his shooting numbers did take a dip. He only hit about 42 or 43% of his field goals, and then he only shot 29% on 5 attempts from 3. It was pretty bad. He did get to the line 5 times a game. That was nice to see because he hasn't done that since his second year in Philadelphia when he was in the playoffs with them. So to see him get to the line, that was nice. You could tell that he changed his style of play just a little bit. He was getting a favorable whistle. But those playoff numbers, those are good. And I don't know if the numbers would be as good. I think if Jalen Duren had a better playoffs, you wouldn't see Tobias averaging 18 a game in the playoffs, and I think his efficiency would go up. But I just think it's nice to see a forward like Tobias, who is older at 34, that he can still put up numbers and he can still be a solid forward for the Detroit Pistons. Now, it all comes down to contract. I've been reading online that experts have said 2 years, $38 million and $19 million a year. That's not bad. That's a good number for Tobias Harris. If anything over 20 million, I probably would be like, you know what? I'm actually good with letting him walk because I don't want to invest that much because he is still declining. His regular season numbers, they're all right. 14, 6, 2, and 1 steal, 47% from the field, 36% from 3. Those are good numbers. They're just not great numbers. I wouldn't really want to go if the Pistons are going into next season with the idea that Tobias Harris is still going to have a big offensive role, we're probably going to regress a little bit. I think it's time for someone else to step up and someone else being put in those roles instead of Tobias Harris. Now, if you're going to tell me, hey, we're going to bring Tobias Harris back and he's going to be a sixth man, he's going to be our number one guy off the bench, dude, that's fine. That's great. That's incredible. That's a perfect role for Tobias Harris. I think almost every Pistons fan would agree with that. Bring him off the bench, let him be offense. Obviously, give him some minutes with Cade, give him some minutes with Dennis Jenkins, give him some minutes with the starters. But I don't want to see him as the starting forward going into next season. And I'm not going to be disappointed, and I'm not going to hate the move if they decide to bring him back and he's starting. It's just that I would rather have them retool the forward position. I love Duncan Robinson. I love Tobias Harris. I just want to see those guys move to bench roles because I think their skill sets now are better suited coming off the bench. So that's my take on Tobias Harris. I don't think this is an important signing. If they bring him back, I think figuring out Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson's contracts, those are more important. I think finding more shooting, outside shooting, more ball handling, more playmaking. Those are 3 things that are more important than signing Tobias Harris. It's just not that important of a move for the Pistons to make this offseason. And like again, like I said, if they're gonna let him walk, that's fine. If they bring him back, that's great. I would like to see him in a Detroit Pistons uniform in a more condensed role than being the starting forward. So that's kind of where I'm at on Tobias Harris. If they can get him for 19 million, I'm cool with that. I don't want to see him go above anymore. If the plan is to bring him off the bench, or maybe if you want to start him and then he's getting probably playing less than I don't know. I don't even want to start him. I don't even want to think of a scenario where he's starting. I'd rather see him come off the bench and be like the guy offensively off the bench. That's what I would rather see with him going forward. I don't want to see him starting. So I don't want to see him starting. I don't think it's the most important signing for the Detroit Pistons this offseason. I think there are other moves that could be more beneficial for the Pistons going forward than re-signing Tobias Harris. But if they do bring him back in a condensed role. Bring him back so he's coming off the bench. So I'm going to talk about a draft prospect that the Pistons could draft at 21. And at first when I saw the name, I'll be honest, I was potentially going to have the shortest draft segment I've ever done on 3 Championship Drive, and it would have been ain't no way. That's what I was prepared to say and just leave it at that. But it's Christian Anderson out of Texas Tech. I've been watching him for since I last recorded the last episode, and I gotta say I've been slowly just falling in love with this kid's game, dude. Like it's just such a breath of fresh air when you find a small guard that can just make plays scoring the ball, make plays for others. He can do it defensively. He's a hell of an athlete. I read that he had a 40-inch vertical leap with like a step, and then he had a 31-inch vertical leap with no step. Dude, he's a fantastic athlete. Not an Asar Thompson athlete, but he's still pretty damn good. He did come in at 6'1" barefoot with a 6'6" wingspan with an 8-foot standing reach. I think with shoes he'll probably be listed at like 6'2" or 6'3". With that wingspan, I'm not really too concerned with him being overmatched defensively unless he gets switched on to like a big. But even if he's playing a bigger guard, like if he for some reason had to defend Cade Cunningham, we'll use that, or like even like a Luka or a LaMelo Ball. I know all 3 of those guys have different styles, but they're all big guards. I wouldn't really be worried about him being destroyed in those matchups. I mean, obviously Luka's going to do his thing. LaMelo and Cade, they're all going to do their things. But what I'm getting at is I think he could hold his own even at 6'2" with shoes because of the wingspan. He does need to bulk up a little bit. I believe he was listed at like 180 pounds. I don't know how much adding more weight would affect his game, but we'll get into his game. The thing I love the most, there was really no wasted movement when it came to dribbling. It seemed like even when he was making a defender dance, he had a plan and he knew exactly what he was going to do with the ball. There was no hesitation or questioning what he wanted to do with the ball when it came to him looking for his own shot. He had the mentality as like, on this play, I'm going to get a bucket. And it doesn't matter if you're in my way. I might step back. I might go to the left. I might hesitate. I might pull a little hezzy out, and you're going to see me make a play. That's what I love about Christian Anderson's game. There's no hesitation. There's no wasted movement. He knows what he wants to do with the ball when he's coming down the floor. It's either I'm going to score or I'm going to create for my teammates so they can score. But either way, we're coming down on offense, and we're going to put the ball in the hoop. That's what we're going to do. And I'm looking at his numbers for the season, 19 points, 7 assists, 1.5 steals, 47% from the field, and 42% from 3 on 8 attempts. That is huge. I don't care if you're 5'10", 5'8", 6'7", being able to shoot 42% from 3 on 8 attempts, dude, you're a difference maker. Now, he probably won't be shooting 42% from 3 on that type of volume in the NBA his rookie year, but I think it's a good sign that just goes to show he has a sweet stroke. And that's really all this team needs. Like, I love the ball handling. I love that there's no wasted movement. I love that his eyes are everywhere, and he can really sell a defense and get a defense to flip from one side just with his eyes. Like, you got to go watch this kid play if you haven't watched him play. I was checking out the No Ceilings. Now, No Ceilings they just put highlights together. But he has chapters of scoring and playmaking. Just go watch his playmaking. Don't even worry about the scoring. Just trust me that the scoring is there. But go watch this kid run the pick and roll. Go watch him when he gets into the lane and when he picks up his dribble And like for some reason, the defense, like he's so good at manipulating the defense. Like they're going to double, flips it cross court, flips it to someone in the post. If I was someone playing with Christian Anderson, like if I'm another guard and like I'm trying just to get an easy bucket, dude, I'm cutting every single time. That kid is gonna find me. I'm cutting to the hoop. I'm trying to move. Like playing with a point guard like that, you don't want to stand around. You want to move. You want to call for the ball, because if you're open, even for a split second, you better keep your eyes on the ball because he's finding you. Like, I came in watching Christian Anderson with like, just already with the thought in my head, like, dude, this isn't going to happen. Like, they're not going to get him at 21. It'd be a waste of a pick. He's too small. I don't believe the shooting. I mean, yeah, 18 and 7 or 19 and 7 scoring and assists. Those are cool numbers, but can he really do it? And then when I watched the tape, it was I was just blown away. Like he looked like an NBA guard playing college. And that's always been one of my things. If like I watch you and I'm looking and I see like, dang, you really look like an NBA caliber player. You're someone I'm going to keep my eyes on. Like you're a special player, and that's what he looked like in college. He looked like he was 2 steps ahead of everybody. It didn't seem like the defense phased him, the length phased him. It didn't matter who was defending him. That dude had the confidence. Like I'm either scoring or someone on my team is scoring. I love Christian Anderson at the 21st pick. If he's available, he like right now as I'm watching it and as I'm talking about him, I'm just like, is he the guy I want at 21? Is he the guy? Do I want him over Isaiah Evans? Do I want him over Malik Thomas? And right now, as I'm recording, I'm saying Christian Anderson is the pick at 21. I love Isaiah Evans. I love the size. I love the movement. I love the shooting. But man, what Christian Anderson brings, where he has the potential to be a lead guard in the NBA, I think him and Cade in the backcourt would just be a perfect marriage for basketball fans. It would be just absolutely incredible. Now, I know some people have been listening to me since I started this podcast, so you know that I'm a barber. And like I have a lot of conversations in the barbershop. A lot of them, I mean, we get into like life stuff, but a lot of people come in, know that I love basketball because I got Pistons posters and autographed Pistons memorabilia hanging up in my shop. I got a few things like that. So they just know that basketball is my thing. I got a few Michigan basketball memorabilia as well. But in my shop, it's pretty much Pistons and like Pez dispensers for some reason. I just love Pez dispensers too. I think they're just like one of the coolest things. So I hang them up all over my wall. But this guy came in and we were talking about the Pistons and he was like, let me run something by you. And I was like, okay. And like this client of mine, I've only known him for a year, but like he's always coming up with these like, I don't know, outside the line scenarios when it comes to sports and just like everyday life. Like it's always a treat when he comes in because you just never know what's on his mind. But lately it's just been about the Pistons because they had 60 wins and they were number 1 in the Eastern Conference. But he's like, what do you think? Tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this scenario. 2016 Steph Curry on this current Detroit Pistons. Do they win the championship? And I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like, are you kidding me? He checks every box that the Pistons need. He gives you outside shooting. He gives you some playmaking. He gives you another ball handler. He just gives you another flat-out scorer that you could pair with Cade. And he's like, you think that they would win with 2016 Steph Curry on this team? He's like, the roster stays the same. He's like, but you might lose like Chaz Lanier, but you get Steph Curry. He's like, you really think that the Pistons run through the Eastern Conference and they beat the Spurs in the NBA Finals? And I said, yeah, no doubt in my mind. Like, he's the perfect complement to Cade Cunningham. He's everything that everybody wanted Jaden Ivey to be. Just this off-the-ball sniper that they were going to get. But that never happened. I think 2016 Curry and current Cade are just like a game breaker. It's like putting in cheat codes to GoldenEye when you're playing on N64 and everybody's hitting you and they're wondering why you're not going down. That's what's happening with Cade Cunningham and Steph Curry. They're playing, it's NBA Jam, Chicago versus Detroit. You're never winning because the guy put a code in that said, hey, the Pistons stats go up when you play against them, when you're the Bulls and play against them. That's what happens with Steph Curry and Cade Cunningham. The stats go up, the codes are put in, you're not winning a game. It's like you're playing against your friend in 2K and he has the settings turned all the way up and you're wondering, how is he doing this? That's what it would be like with Steph Curry and Cade Cunningham in the backcourt. I would love it. I hate that he brought the scenario up because now I'm just thinking about it where it's like, is there another Steph Curry coming in the NBA? Could Jared McCain be 2016 Steph Curry alongside Cade Cunningham? Can Dennis Jenkins suddenly develop it? Do they draft Isaiah Evans and he's that shooter? Do they bring in Clay and just say, hey, this is close enough? I don't know, but I hate now that I'm thinking about it, but I hope everybody, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, I hope your nights, I hope it's hard for you to fall asleep thinking about Steph Curry in a Pistons uniform. I hope that you're just up at night and just hitting the pillow and just being like, why did he bring that up? Because that's what my life has been like for the last few nights. Steph Curry in 2016, Steph Curry and the Detroit Pistons playing alongside current Cade Cunningham. I know I said Christian Anderson and Cade Cunningham were a match made in basketball heaven, but 2016 Steph Curry and current Cade, oh my God, chef's kiss. Thank you for listening to the 3 Championship Drive podcast. I'm your host, Lance Caporossi. Do me a favor, subscribe, whether it's on Spotify or any of the other podcasting platforms, whether it's on YouTube. Review, drop a comment, do whatever. But more importantly, tell a Pistons fan